Yeah, I'll bring you one. Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hold on for 1 second. Ah. Boom shakalaka. You gotta take care of the ones you love. No. Okay. The Dallas Cowboys ended up in a tie, 40-40. I said before we traded Micah Parsons, which was 1 month ago today, before we traded him, I said the Cowboys offense is going to have to score 35 points a game to win. And that was with Micah Parsons because I recognized that our team was not good on defense because we had so many players that we had let go over the years, and we made some mistakes on some of the guys we decided to keep and some of the guys that we had let go. I'm going to look at this one way. Here's where I'm going to look at this. And maybe we can finally stop talking about Micah Parsons' trade so much, because here's the thing. Our defense is atrocious. Our defense could not stop anybody. Green Bay, they scored points like they said they were going to score points on our defense. They scored 40 points in overtime, as expected. However, going into this game, they talked about how great the Green Bay Packers defense was, how they are sack machines, that they get to the quarterback and left and right, that, Micah Parsons is going to have 6 sacks. I don't think, I may be wrong, I don't think Green Bay got a single sack in this game. Javonte Williams started out kind of slow, but he still ended up with like 4.5 yards a carry. He's still in the 5 yards a carry range this year. Dak Prescott was without Tyler Booker, his left guard, Cooper Beebe, and CD Lamb playing against the demons that are the Green Bay Packers. And that offense scored 40 points against what they said was a great defense. Now, let's look at this. They talked about the Cowboys as the worst defense in football, and we looked like it. And that the Green Bay Packers were on the other end of the spectrum. Yet, both teams gave up 40 points. Now, maybe Green Bay, this is where it's actually good for us. Ending in a tie helps us because that helps us with draft position with Green Bay. What if Green Bay is like the New Orleans Saints of last year? That maybe they're not as good as everybody thinks. They had some injuries in that game. Micah Parsons doesn't seem to be quite right. He was in the tent. He's got back issues and things like that. What if the Green Bay Packers aren't that good? Now, here's the thing. If we traded Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers, right? And the Green Bay Packers defense is as bad as the Dallas Cowboys, then it didn't seem like Micah Parsons made a difference. But here's what we got. We got Clark, who seems to be a baller. And if I look at the games tonight, I'm going to say Clark had a better game than Micah Parsons. Maybe I'm shaded. But he had a better game than what Micah Parsons did. Micah Parsons did end up getting probably the game-saving tackle on Dak Prescott. And maybe that's fitting that the two of those guys, being that it was Dak Prescott versus Micah, that Micah stopped Dak from winning the game, they end up with the tie, and they're equal. And maybe that's poetic. But here's the difference here for us. Micah didn't make a difference to the Green Bay Packers in that game, at least. Clark didn't really make one for us. But we got 2 picks that are first-round picks the next 2 years from Green Bay. And that may be the difference for the future. Now, we had a discussion before when it was 13-0 about, at this point, my thoughts were, we got a championship type of an offense. We can score points with anybody. We played against 3 really good defenses that have scored points, with the Giants, with the Eagles, and now with Green Bay. But our defense isn't anywhere near good enough. Maybe if Diggs gets healthy, maybe if Overshown comes, we've got so many deficits on our defense right now. Our secondary is terrible. Our edge rushing, every time we seem like we made a play, we get a penalty. Sam Williams, if he doesn't get the touch Jordan Love's face mask, maybe we stop him and we end up winning the game. There were, in any given Sunday, when he says the inches we need are everywhere, sometimes you go, one step too soon or one step too late, and you miss it. And you can see that. You can see where Diggs was turned around the wrong way to make a tackle down there on the goal line. That defense is bad. And so the question is it better for the Cowboys to end up being like where we usually are, which is in hell? Win 9 or 10 games, just miss the playoffs, or maybe make the playoffs. The reality is this team, as currently constructed, is not good enough. So is it better to end up losing games? And I know people are going to come at me because it's like, oh, you never want to lose. I'm just saying, we need more help, especially on the defense. My quarterback, for everybody out there who keeps saying, Dak sucks, Dak's holding us back, wrong dudes. Dak Prescott is the glue that's keeping us together. Dak Prescott has been freaking insane. 319 yards, ran for a TD, threw 3 TDs. He did everything that you needed. The only thing else he could have done is play defensive back. He is playing at an MVP level. Unfortunately, the team is not there with it. He has done more than what you should need for a game. He scored 40 points and ended up with a tie. It's insane. And this is where Jerry Jones has let down another quarterback like Tony Romo. Javonte Williams, real deal running back. It's not a fluke. He is getting the tough yards. He's very, very physical. That guy is back. And that guy, you need to make sure we lock him up. I'm not saying go with the Zeke Elliott contract, but we don't want to lose him in free agency. George Pickens is another guy. George, everybody's been questioning George and saying he's not this, he's not. George Pickens is a baller. George Pickens had over 130 yards and 2 touchdown passes without CeeDee Lamb being there. George Pickens is a legitimate number 1 wide receiver. And if we had CeeDee Lamb out on the field with him tonight, I think we'd blow him out. It's just too much firepower. And that makes you think, when we do get back Booker and Cooper Beebe and get back CeeDee Lamb, that offense is going to be probably the best in football. And mind you, you're seeing players dropping all over the field. Lamar Jackson today, hamstring issue. I don't know how severe it is, but he didn't finish. Cooper Rush had to go in. And you got to look at them and say, we got a better record than Baltimore right now. They're 1-3. We're 1-2-1. Okay, so a half a game, but still. So you got to have to count your blessings a little bit there. But the Cowboys' offensive line, you got to look at them and say they deserve a game ball, because what they did against the Green Bay Packers defense that people thought was really, really good, keeping Dak Prescott upright. I think that they looked at this and said, Dak is our guy. We are not going to let them get him. People are talking about Micah getting 4 or 5 sacks in this game. I'm looking at this and saying, Micah's getting some pressures. I think he got 2 in this game. But I don't think Micah Parsons is going to have the season with Green Bay like he had with Dallas this year. I just don't. Maybe I'm wrong. So, where are we right now? exciting, on the edge of your seat. It's going to frustrate you all season. Shout out to probably the game of the year. And I guess fitting that it ended up in a tie. So, I'm going to go sleep on this because I actually live streamed today for 15 hours. 15 hours. God, I'm crazy. But let me say, to all of the people who came in and started in the morning and stayed for the whole day, to all the people that just popped in, popped out, for all the people that commented, because there's well over, I think, 20,000 comments, over 40,000 views. Thank you all for being part of my football Sunday of living and dying with the Dallas Cowboys. God, it would have been so nice to have gotten a win tonight. It would have been so nice, but it wasn't in the cards. I'm going to get ready to carry my butt to bed. But remember, good people, appreciate the relationships that you have and the people that you have around you. Send prayers to Momo. Momo has lost his sister and his brother, and now his brother-in-law. And that's where you realize life is short and life is so precious. Enjoy the moments and tell the people you love that you love them. And I love you guys. And God willing, we'll all see each other tomorrow.